Turn off the music. Alright. Hey Joseph,
Yeah.
how do you farm exotics?
Right. So basically, right. First off, you have to have the Crucible Osiris and the Warmind campaign, right? And if you have that, there's going to be this little chest on it. So the Crucible Osiris and the Warmind will give you the two maps, right? But boom, there's going to be another like little island, right? It's not necessarily a map, but it's an island. And on this island, there's going to be a chest, right? This chest, like the Luna, what is it called? The exotic hand cannon, right? It's gonna be like that. So it's gonna give you an exotic quest line. Gotta go do that. Yay, hooray! You got a new weapon, right? But it's no ordinary weapon. It's a sword. But it's an exotic quest line for a blue sword. Now, what you do with this blue sword is you take it to the Dreaming City, right? And there's gonna be this little altar. You put the altar in there, and you gotta defend it, right? And there's gonna be waves of taken, right? And so once you do that, it's gonna be like something from like COD Zombies where you gotta like collect the souls in like little chests. It's gonna be something like that, right? So you gotta fill up the meter, right? And if you get like 1,000 something kills, it'll change the rarity of your weapon, right? So it gave you blue sword, but every single one you get is gonna change it, right? And then so once you do that enough to get it exotic, it's gonna have no perks, right? Like the Legend of Acreus, and that sucks. So you want perks. So then you gotta go talk to this one guy, right? His name's the Drifter, right? Drifter's kind of like a shady drug dealer, if you didn't know him, right? Everybody thinks he's good because he does Gambit, but no, he's a drug dealer, right? Because he works for the Nine. And so basically, you're gonna talk to him. He's gonna give you another quest line, but you have to complete the last word but in order to do this. But I should have made that clearer. But you have to do that, right? And then so once you complete the last word quest to an exotic hand cannon, that's too long to explain. But anyway, so you do that, right? And then you go to him with your sword with no perks, right? And he's like, oh, okay, well, I got a guy that can get you perks, right? And the dude, and so you take it to a dude called Zer, right? He works on Titan. He used to be like a boss or whatever that you had to fight as like a lost sector, but now he's a good guy because the Drifter gave him like some good medicine and he healed him back to like a normal person. And so you give it to him and he like fixes it up, and then he gives you a hilt without a blade, and you're like, hey, what do I got to do with this, right? And you take the hilt back to Petra on the Dreaming City, right? And then she carves the hilt, right? And then you take it to Zer and you ask her like, what is this, right? And then he gives you the blade, and you take the blade to the spider, the Tangled Shore, and he carves the blade, right? So you have a carved blade and a hilt. And then you take it back to Zer, he puts them together, and then boom, you gotta go get 100 Void Nova Bomb kills in Crucible, right? Crazy. And then it gives you like a Void soul charge, right? And then you give that to him with the carved blade, the carved hilt, and the Void soul charge thing. Boom, you have your assembled. Then you assemble it, and boom, he's like, hey, I got this weapon, but it still has no perks, but the weapon is complete. Now you have to complete 10 Gambit matches and get 1,000 kills with shotguns in Crucible, right? Kind of tedious, but hey, it gives you a pretty good weapon. So once you do that, right, you head back to Zer with the Essence of the Fallen, right? Because every single kill you get gives you the Essence of the Fallen, right? Uh, and so basically, you give it to him, and then what the Essence of the Fallen does, it allows him to put everything that you got together, and then boom, you make a weapon called the Black Talon, right? And it's a pretty good sword. It shoots void charges. It does a lot of damage, right? But once you do all this stuff for the Black Talon, you gain Zer's trust, right? And so you're like, you and Zer are buddy buddy now. And so then once you become buddies with Zer, he visits you weekly, and he's like, hey, you doing good? You need weapons, right? But you know, he's pretty expensive, so he can't be here all the time. So he comes around once a week to sell you some exotics to help you out through your quests. But like I said, he can't be here all the time because it's not cheap. So you got to pay a bunch of stuff to get exotics. But the exotics that it does give you is a high gamble because, like the Drifter, he's kind of like a gambler and a bad guy, but he's also kind of cool. And boom, that's how you farm exotics in Destiny 2.